Welcome to Pod Caviar. I'm Tony in the motherfucking, the greatest studio ever. I'm here with Graham from 1 Gram Army.
Hi there, sir.
Just a couple things. The reason why I'm not in the Game Caviar studio is because the Game Caviar studio moved. Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
Exciting.
Let me tell you guys about that. I was lucky enough, I live in an apartment complex, and I was lucky enough to move from one building to another right across the street. So what I did was I bought a dolly, and that dolly was the real MVP, and I was able to move all of my shit with that dolly from one place to the other.
Absolutely.
The only thing that I didn't do was it took a while to get rid of furniture. Old furniture.
Yeah.
Do you know how to dispose of old furniture?
I could just put it somewhere.
That's exactly what I ended up doing.
Yeah.
I went through and I tried to do it the right way. As it turns out, there are two things that are highly regarded as secret in this country: nuclear launch codes and how to dispose of old furniture. And nobody knows how to do it.
If I can interject,
Yeah.
The reason is because the way you dispose of old furniture is almost always shady.
Yeah.
You know when you go to places and there's a sign that says no dumping?
Yeah.
That's because that was a place that either currently or at one point was subjected to a lot of people being like, I give up on how to dispose of old furniture.
Of course.
This is where it lives now.
Yeah.
Out here in this clearing.
Yeah.
In this forest.
Yeah.
Or at the end of this gravel road.
I drove around with an old sectional in the back of a U-Haul pickup truck that I fucking rented, and I just found some old furniture on the side of the road, and I was like, this is where it's gonna go.
Yeah.
But I tried to do it legally. I mean, what I did wasn't illegal. It's not like I dumped it on. It's not like I dumped it on like a church parking lot or something. Right. I was just like,
You didn't dump it into a river.
No, yeah. That's where it was. Fuck it, whatever. But before we get into NFL Sunday and how we love football and how it's exciting, I want to touch about mental health and how it affects people and how it really is, what is it? It's kind of ignored in America. Oh, shit.
Largely.
Somebody got a phone call.
Hold on. This is an important call. Let's take this. Hold on one moment, sir. All right, we're back. Sorry.
Yeah. What I was saying is that, mental health is really bad, especially in the workplace, because like you just got a phone call from your job on a Sunday, Yep. And a lot of times people don't know
what that does.
Yeah, they don't know what that does. They don't know they don't have a great outlet. There's certain things that I have learned that will help mentally, having a hobby helps. Absolutely. Working out helps.
Yeah, if I can add to this in any way,
go ahead.
I went from a time, and I've always worked.
Mm-hmm.
We've always worked. Years ago, I had making music and doing something creative.
Right.
Which is why I always refer to podcasting as the exercise of podcasting, because for me, it's like an exercise for your mind.
Right, it is.
And having a hobby, creating something is so important, because that's. And I don't mean to sound dismissive sometimes, but sometimes when we predict the future and we go, when someday when this podcast is huge, I'll sit in here, I'll die on this podcast with 120 listeners forever, because I really enjoy doing it. I mean, not to say that you're doing it for no reason, but that's huge. And I actually I intended on starting my other podcast talking about something along these lines. I just kind of had one of those days where I woke up and it was Sunday and I was woken by a call from work, which it's not the end of the world. I didn't actually have to do anything, but what I had to do was drag 2 other people out of their beds,
right,
or whatever they were doing on their Sunday, and ask them to go work.
Yeah.
And they're not firemen.
Right, yeah.
And think about that, think about
exactly
that kind of thing about being a fireman. There's a very small, I was just talking to my brother about this today. There's a very small subset of people who are fortunate enough to work Monday to Friday, 8 to 5. Mm-hmm. People take pay cuts in an effort to just get to the point in their life where they're only selling their time on earth. They're only selling it to someone else for a set amount of time.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of peace in knowing that you're not on call.
Absolutely.
And that you have a set schedule, and that if you have, or if you want overtime, it's not something that's forced upon you. It's your choice, you know.
Although often you find that employers offer overtime at a rate that makes it so you can basically not say no.
Right.
Because you have to have it because...
Yeah, but even then, you have to sit back and be like, what am I sacrificing for this?
Exactly. But that's such a strain mentally.
Yeah, it is.
Because it's like, I need to have money to live.
Right.
It's 2018 and I live in America and no one's gotten a raise in the last 30 years.
Exactly.
Despite the fact that a loaf of bread is $3 or whatever the analogy would be. It's structured in such a way that you get to barely survive without any overtime. And with overtime, maybe you'll get like a couple nights of sleep.
Yeah.
Where you don't go, fuck, how am I going to feed my family?
Right.
Tomorrow?
And that will take a toll on you mentally. It'll take a toll on you physically. And there's just, as in 2018 in America, it is really overlooked to the point to where we can't overlook it anymore.
No.
And it needs to change.
Yeah, people just assume, it's an assumption that you should sell at least 40 hours of your week to someone, which really turns out to be 50.
Right.
Because an hour of that you're also not home or raising your kids or taking care of other responsibilities. You have to sit at work and you have to pretend to be busy.
Right.
It's very important that while you're using this time, despite the fact that you're being paid X amount of money to accomplish X number of tasks.
Right.
It's almost nowhere do you work where you go in and you go, hey, I finished all this stuff. We're done for this week.
Right.
I'll see that paycheck and I'll see you guys next week. Because I got all my work done.
Exactly. No.
The work I agreed to do for this X amount of money. You can't do that.
Right. And then you have to sit there and make sure that you look good even though you finished it, because there's some places where if they know that you finished early, they're not going to let you go home early. They're going to give you even more shit to do. And that's just how it is. Yeah. And it's like, there's a lighthearted analogy. One of the games that I used to play on computers back in the day was called Space Quest. It was Space Quest 3. There was a point in time where you had to infiltrate into this office building. It was in the future, Space Quest, of course, but there was a lot of people, a lot of employees in cubicles, and there was a runway on each set of cubicles, and there was a guy walking up and down the runway, and he had a whip, and he was just whipping the fucking workers.
Yeah.
And that's how it is today without the literal whip, but of course, you have to do that
too. If you look at the enjoyment, the little bit of enjoyment and silliness that people who used to work like that would be able to squeeze out of their lives before surveillance.
Right.
Like, you don't have to have a guy walking up and down a catwalk. Now you just put cameras in.
Oh yeah.
And your boss can go, what's he doing?
Yeah.
I need to see this camera. He's not being productive. Despite the fact that he or she is, spacing out because the work you give them isn't very challenging and it's all done.
Right.
And then now let's punish that person for being overly efficient.
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what it does.
And all of that just destroys people mentally.
Yeah.
You go to work. It's difficult to go to work and not be incredibly negative.
Right.
Without the aid of pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
And without the ability to come home from work and not use alcohol.
Right.
On top of the pharmaceuticals you have. Literally almost everything you do involves adjusting your brain and your body chemistry to survive this environment.
Of course.
One that we're clearly not evolved to survive in.
Yeah. But the overall message that we want to get, we don't want to be, No,
we're not communists. You gotta go to work.
Right.
You do have to go to work.
You do have to go to work. Yeah. No, I mean, we just want you to understand that mental health is very serious and that there are many ways that you can improve your mental health through hobbies. And then even if you have to go talk to a doctor, a psychiatrist or somebody, a counselor, anything. And if you work in a place where you're not able to do that for some reason, let the way that you feel be your motivation to change your life.
Agreed.
There are many ways that people, and I know for a fact I have been working for places where I absolutely hated it, but I didn't let it be the end of me. I have changed, and I've gotten to a position where I actually like my job now. So,
just to play devil's advocate briefly, there are people who are in some respects, they're stuck in the position they're in the fact that, like, okay, well, they're like established where they work.
Right.
And they have all these external responsibilities, and getting a new job would throw all of that into
Of
whack,
course, yeah.
Or you'll take a job for slightly more money, but now you have to pay for daycare for your kids.
Right.
And now it's a wash. Or actually what you did was you took a pay cut.
Yeah.
And you see your kids less. And you're more stressed out. It's a very...
Yeah.
It's easy to get wrapped up in the worst case scenarios.
Of course.
When you live in this world where you have to, if you're super good at your job, you're going to have to be there more.
Right.
Which seems completely counterintuitive.
It does.
Right. But so when you're losing your mind like that, definitely podcasting helps. Having a hobby.
Right.
Play an instrument.
Yeah.
Listening to our podcast 100% of the time, other than this one where we don't dwell on those things. Because I've thought about that recently, though, too, and I'll stop hijacking this subject line. But I thought about that recently, too, though. I thought about it today. I woke up and I was like, man, today's a day where I feel kind of shitty. I'd like to talk about it on the podcast. As the day wore on, I decided I didn't want to, because the thing I try to offer people is an opportunity to take the frivolity of Sunday, like kind of that, where you're like gallows humor about your existence on Sunday.
Right.
Like, whatever, it's all good. It's still the weekend.
Yeah.
And then Monday hits.
Yeah.
And all that sinks in. I kind of try to like expand that.
Yeah.
That little bit, like I try to sprinkle that little bit of that Sunday energy into your Monday just to ease the transition.
Yeah.
But that's real, though. I mean, what you're talking about
is
incredibly real.
And all this came about because I did research for a while, and I go through depression and anxiety. I've been doing that for real, and I've talked about it before. But there was a newscaster, Christine Chubbuck, who actually committed suicide on the air because she was going through depression, and during the work, she wanted to do more. She wanted to be valued more at her job, and they just wouldn't let her do it. And they wanted her to do things that she wasn't, that she didn't agree with morally. So she ended up, she was the only person, it's categorized as she's the only person that has committed suicide live on air. And that's what she did. She went into work and she was like, look, this is what y'all want to do. I'm not a part of it. And you want these big stories? Well, here's a really big story. She pulled out a revolver or a gun of some sort, and she, committed suicide.
Yeah, see, I'm unfamiliar with that. I do know about, I believe his name was Richard Dwyer.
I've seen that too. Yeah. I've seen that video.
Was pretty disturbing.
The video with her has never been released, and that was back in. It's probably never going to see the light of day.
I had heard of it, but there isn't.
They just did a movie about it recently.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's. What I wanted to get through is that don't get to the point to where that's your only option. There are a lot of things that happen. There was a story of people who have jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge. There was a guy, I think, who survived, and he was like, as soon as I jumped, I immediately realized that all of my problems could have been easily solved.
No, and see, and that goes back to sort of the work thing and the pharmaceuticals, and the constant with the booze, and the and just eating these pills that companies give you. These companies are drug dealers. They're making drugs that you look at people, they're like, oh, I have trouble focusing, and they're like, well, here's Adderall, which is amphetamines, like a powerful amphetamine. And you just give it to people. Hey, it's made in a lab. Feel how clean that feels?
Right.
Just keep doing that. You'll be fine. Oh, you need to sleep? Well, then take this.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is, in some ways, is kind of a tired line for people discussing it, but it's incredibly accurate. It's super true, and it still happens all the time. And I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
Is that you can't see the forest because of all the trees. You're so stressed out. You're getting so little sunlight. You're getting no exercise. You're eating like shit. Your responsibilities piling up around you.
Yeah.
Of course, it seems reasonable to jump off the Golden Gate Bridge because you're also eating all these pills that are like keeping you awake and putting you to sleep, and like nothing is ever a genuine experience with your reality.
Right.
And it has to contribute to that. And I think if you had the clarity of the moment before you decided that killing yourself was the answer, I think that stands to reason.
Yeah.
You look.
Yeah. Let's just wrap this up, man. I wanna say that there's always a just don't give up. You got to keep going.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
And damn it. Sorry. I don't even stop talking. I was just, because I worry sometimes when you tell people that it sounds kind of facile or like simplified.
Yeah, right.
But
it's not at all.
I think it's important to point out like all of the avenues of struggle for people because there isn't. Because there's a lot of noise that comes to people too. You listen to like Gary Vee, and he's like, "Well, just get up off your ass and go get some money."
I can't stand that shit. Yeah,
man. That guy. When that guy for a minute, he was on Rogan, and he like kind of had me. And I was like, man, this guy, and I still appreciate his advice about don't be a bitch,
get
out of bed. That stuff's important. People do need to hear that.
Yeah, of course.
But then he's like, start a business and text me and I'll give me some money. And I'll tell you how to start a business. I'm like, oh, god damn it. Now I'm going to kill myself.
It's coming from a guy who's fucking started his own business. I don't need somebody to tell me how to start my own business. No, I just did it and I did my research and that's what I did. You know?
Well, he doesn't even tell you how to do it. He just tells you that it's tells you that it's a good idea, and then he'll review your business.
Oh, fuck him! No. The best thing that I've ever read on Reddit for free is that there was a guy who made a post, and he said, "You have from this point forward in your life have no more 0 days." And a 0 day means that if you set a goal each day, you take a step towards achieving it. A 0 day means you have done nothing. And it makes sense. And I didn't have to pay for him to tell me that, but it's cool. I mean, it makes sense.
And think about how many fucking 0 days you've had.
Motherfucker,
and you have to work against all of them.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
No, the dismissal of motivational things makes sense to me because a lot of it's horseshit.
Oh yeah,
and a lot of it comes from some hot girl on Instagram or some incredibly good-looking dude on Instagram at the gym who's like, "I'm a multi-million-dollar movie star. You just gotta keep grinding.
Yeah,
you gotta keep grinding." That's great, but most people aren't headed towards that.
Of course,
you know what I mean. But somebody telling you every day like, "Oh, well, they're not fucking giving anything out. You got to get up.
Yeah.
You got to go do it.
Yeah.
At least get you to that point.
Everybody needs a reality check at some point.
Yeah. Even if you're just barely subsisting, like even if the goal isn't to own the fucking New York Giants one day.
Right.
You have to keep doing this.
Yeah.
It's the only way you're going to experience life because this is the one you get.
Yeah.
There's no evidence to the contrary. Mm-hmm. There's no evidence that suggests that your consciousness survived before or after it exists.
Right.
Even if it's made out of all the same matter and everything, it is all made out of the same material.
Yeah, of course.
Your consciousness, what makes you, is actually made out of stuff that's all been existing this whole time.
Yeah.
But you won't experience it. Like, that's moot. The parameters of your existence don't change.
Right.
You got to get out and try.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's basically what we're going to say. We're going to go ahead and take a commercial break. Woo! Graham has a nice commercial. Before we go, I want to say R.I.P. to Mac Miller, rapper who just tragically passed away from an overdose. And if you don't know about Mac Miller, check him out. He was very talented. As not just as a rapper, but as a musician in general,
And he was dope too in an era where we were losing just cool dope shit.
Exactly.
When we were losing the Beastie Boys of the world,
right?
We had Mac Miller, and he was sick. Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
So we'll be back in a minute. It's Pod Caviar.
Are you tired of ruining your clothes with vomit every time someone mentions LeBron?
Sometimes being clutch is being so good through the first 3 quarters of the game that it is not in question in the 4th quarter of the game.
Sick of replacing costly electronics and furniture when LeBron says something like this?
I feel confident because I'm the best player in the world.
Or this?
I told you my legacy is bigger than basketball. I've always told you that.
Or this?
I think for me the worst thing is when I actually go and talk to the ref and they say it was nothing.
Or this?
And for me it's even more frustrating because I know how I'm officiated at times.
Then you need LeBucket. LeBucket is a patented system consisting of a comfortable bucket you wear like a backpack in reverse. LeBucket reduces costly cleaning bills that result from the sports media, NBA officials, and the dumbest guy at your job trying to convince you that this second-rate Magic Johnson is the greatest player who ever lived. Get yours today by visiting capfsports.com or by calling 847-665-9238. It's the LaBucket. Never get caught off guard by that idiot at work again.
All right, and we're back at Pod Caviar, and I've got Graham, the host of One Graham Army, and it is opening weekend for football, and we've been watching these games. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's a hellified transition there, too. We got real in the first half.
I know, right? Yeah.
This is a great way to get folks back into their week.
Hell yeah, yeah. It's a great weekend. We have the red zone on in here, so we've been poking. God damn, Janikowski is fucking big as shit.
Yeah.
We've been peeking at these games, and it's pretty exciting, more than it has been a few years ago. And I think that with me, football is my favorite sport, so I'm gonna be excited regardless. But I don't know, man, something about this whole. Maybe it's because I just moved into a new spot, and then I'm happy about that and all that shit, and that went smooth. Actually, you know what? Football can go on the back burner for a little while.
Yeah.
It didn't go as smooth as possible, okay?
Yeah, your
First of all,
move.
I talked about the fucking furniture issue, okay? And then my dumbass lost my keys to my new spot, so I had this is how bad it was. So I moved my furniture, what's left of my furniture, my bed and shit, to my new spot. I got locked out of that spot, and so I couldn't just sleep on at the old spot. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I just need to get my head on my ass. I'm gonna go rent a cheap room, and then that's what I'm gonna do. I went to this place. I'm not gonna name it, and I rented a room, and I walked in, and it smelled absolutely like armpits.
This is a hotel near.
Yeah. It's right around the corner.
City in Georgia that we live.
Right.
Yeah.
And it smelled like armpits. And I was like, "This
the one down here by the Wendy's."
It's no, it wasn't that one. I should have went to that one.
Yeah.
No, it's one behind the end mark right here. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
And I went there, and it was like remember when we got our rooms when we were in when we got deployed and we got the rooms, and you're like, yeah, it's one of those. Yeah.
It's
one
of
those
it would
things.
just smell like.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was like, I just need to take a shower, go eat, and then chill.
Smells essentially like 100 sweaty dudes.
Yeah,
rubbed their piled up like cordwood against.
And it was like the fucking bed and shit, and it was like this fucking. You know how they lay that thing on the end of the bed? I forgot what it's called, but it was like stains all on it. I was like, yeah, this is just like being deployed. Yeah.
I'd also like to apologize in advance, but you may want to go through here and adjust some volumes here and there just to compress it, because I've been pretty really annoyed.
Yeah, no, fuck it. Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Yeah,
none of it's distorted.
I think people know that by now. They know what they're getting into.
Should do.
We're gonna fucking. We're not gonna pop your eardrums, but we will get your attention.
Absolutely. That shit's gonna happen. We're gonna get in a conversation that's too good for me to stop fucking with these knobs. I probably should just stop fucking with them. It's probably the best advice.
I mean,
for
yeah.
Just at some point, just set them there.
Yeah, fuck
like,
it.
This is fine.
Whatever.
Because when I listen to it, I can't hear any of the adjustments I made.
Right.
Anyway,
it is what it is. You know, this is what we do. You know, you work the board, and then I do the talking.
We try to make it work.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And then
you know, you boys owe me a lot of money for that beer you drank tonight. God damn it.
Yes. Yeah.
We had a great couple weeks with our podcast.
We did. It's about time to have
it's one where we kind of off center.
It's for us.
Yeah.
It's for us.
Yeah.
You would hope that when we do it for us, we're doing it for everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I just have to imagine that's not going to work at some point and watch.
Right.
We're going to listen to this and we're like, that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
I hope
that's how it always is, right? You know?
We would certainly fucking hope
somebody would be like, yeah, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't. I don't think we really shit the bed on that one. Yeah. You'll be like, go listen to it, man. I don't know about that one. And I'm like, yeah, it's pretty fucking awesome. Yeah, you know.
I listen to it every Monday. Every Monday.
Yeah.
I find my safe space and I listen to the podcast we did. And pretty much every time I've been like, yeah, that was solid.
Yeah.
Solid. Some are better than others, but they've all been pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, shit. There have been worse things, but yeah, we're monitoring the games in the NFL. By the time you hear this, where are we going to be? Probably before the Monday night game, but after the Sunday night game.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of surprising. The Browns and the Steelers ended in a tie. The first time that's happened in a while.
Yeah,
we were watching that game.
That was a pretty
game.
exciting moment for us here in the studio.
Yes, it
but
was.
Not necessarily for the podcast.
All
but
right.
It's hard to translate that,
right?
Because that weird level of excitement. Because I think NFL fans, regardless of who your team is,
right,
you can agree that when the Cleveland Browns, do well,
yeah,
I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, you don't have a choice. You're surprised and you're excited because
and
you're surprised at first. Yeah, I know. You're like, oh shit, and then you're like, come on, go do that. Then you're like, oh fuck.
I was stoked at the possibility of the Browns beating the Steelers in Week 1 in Pittsburgh.
Oh god damn it! I'm watching the fucking Cowboys now, and they're doing it. They're fucking doing it.
It's early. It's
it is. Yeah. I'm not even worried about it. Fuck it. I mean, I said this earlier. I think that they're gonna have either a great season or they're gonna implode on each other. But
I think this conversation started on my podcast, and I may have already forgotten. But I meant to come back to this. The difference with the NFL and Major League Baseball for me, the biggest one, is that I can watch.
Yeah.
Because it's only once a week. And it's on a clock.
Oh, yeah.
And it's all clumped together, really.
Mm-hmm.
I can watch almost any NFL team play each other.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can do that, too.
If I got shit to do, I'm not going to watch the Browns play the Jaguars. I'm not going to watch, there's loads of games. I'm not going to watch the Bills and the Raiders.
Of course,
there's tons of weird games that I'm not going to watch. But if I didn't have anything going on and that was the football that was on TV, I mean, the NFL pretty much trained us for that because of the regional games thing.
Right.
Like I spent many Sundays watching the Falcons play football and didn't give a shit.
That's how I became a Cowboys fan because Baltimore didn't have a team. They didn't have the Ravens, so the Cowboys were the most popular team in the fucking in the NFL, so they were always on.
Yeah, and you were seeing a lot of those nationally broadcast games.
Exactly, yeah. So fuck it. The Cowboys are down 7-0. It's still not bad. They're not getting blown away. They haven't really jumped out and done anything. It seems like in the NFC East, the Giants lost. The Redskins are winning. What other team is it? There's the Cowboys are playing now. There's another
Eagles
team.
Won
the Eagles,
Thursday.
the Eagles won.
The
So
Super Bowl
shit,
champion,
they finally fucking won one. Yeah. The most annoying fan base in the goddamn universe fucking won a Super Bowl. Ain't that some shit?
It is.
And then they got the nerve to say, "Oh well, we finally won one." When's the last time the Cowboys won one? It's like back in the '90s, but they had 5. So I'm not gonna, I'm not really sad.
Something to be said for that.
Right.
Although as a Cubs fan, I will say that when the Cubs won the first World Series, they've won in 108 years.
Yeah.
When Griff, former co-host of the Now Defense Sportsman Capital podcast, would call me and talk shit. Now, whenever he talks shit about baseball, I get to go, well, win one in the century and we'll talk.
Yeah.
You fat piece of shit. You stupid Irish scumbag.
Yeah.
Fucking stab you in your throat. How about that?
That's the end of the argument right there. I don't give a fuck what team, what sport. If I came up to you and I started talking shit about the Bears, and you were like, well, the Cowboys haven't won a fucking Super Bowl in how many years? I'd be like, you're right.
Yeah.
All right, whatever.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
What else you got going
You got
on
me on the Bears because the Bears won it at 85, and they're definitely not. While I'm excited about the Bears this year, I'm not like, here we go.
Yeah. That's exactly how I feel about the Cowboys. Everybody's like, oh, my God, they made all these changes. They're going to be there. I'm like,
keep an eye out.
Let me just throttle back on my experiences because there's been plenty of times when I've seen this fucking team and I'm like, we're gonna go win the Super Bowl this year. We got it. Goddamn, we got everybody. We're gonna fucking put those teams out there, and they're gonna win every game. And then we go 8-8, and I'm like, fuck.
Well, yeah, Tony Romo would do this weird thing for a long time where he would be like, I'm an elite NFL quarterback, except in those moments where I really need to be.
Yeah. Oh shit, what just happened?
Cam Newton.
Fuck, I thought that. Oh, never.
Cam Newton out there flying around.
Cam Newton is a great quarterback, so
he's a he's
and I think that the Panthers are really going to do good because they were quiet this whole offseason, and normally when a team gets really quiet during the offseason, they will do. Oh shit!
That looked like a sack.
Oh fuck! This isn't the Cowboys. We're watching the Chiefs and the what is it? The Chargers. I almost called them the Clippers.
Whatever. Either way, that's going to be very hard for people to follow.
Oh, it looks like the Cowboys and the Panthers about to go into halftime. They're going to kick a field goal. The Panthers will go up 10-0 on the Cowboys. I could do this sportscasting shit.
Yeah, but it would have to be live for it to make sense to any of your listeners.
I know,
'cause
yeah,
otherwise they're
yeah.
listening to us watching a game
Right.
from what amounts to yesterday or
Right.
even 2 weeks ago. Who
I
knows?
think at that point, if somebody gets
I get
enjoyment
that.
out of that, it's
Yeah.
because they love us.
Of course.
They're
and they
fans.
might as well. It's supposed to be funny. But
yeah.
no, I definitely
Yeah.
have in a lot of
There we go.
recent time I've noticed listeners trickle in at like the 2-3 week mark, and I'll be
Right.
like, oh, okay. So everyone's, because they're like, okay, I'm out of all possible forms of entertainment. Time for some One Gram
might
Army
as fucking
podcast.
well see
Yeah.
what these guys are talking about. And then here we go.
Exactly. Yeah, they
Being
all-
assholes in a room, as usual.
What's
Just
wrong
having
with
a good
that?
time. I was thinking about this yesterday. I was going to say that we do this podcast and we drink and we're pretty fucked up, still coherent
time to
enough
time,
to
yeah,
get through
yeah.
it. And I'm like, we're supposed to be. We shouldn't be able to. We shouldn't have to come in here and it shouldn't be a job. This is fun for us.
Yeah, we're
you
not
know?
fucking Conan O'Brien.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. It's supposed to be fun. Really, the only reason I try to rein myself in is because I have a job. Outside of that,
Right.
you know,
Right.
I-
Right.
But
And we're
I-
both on day shift now, right?
And me saying that I rein myself in with the stuff I say is, I guess maybe I just say that to make myself feel better. But
I wasn't even talking about the stuff that we say. I was talking about more of, we got to
The
get up in
vibe.
the morning.
oh yeah, but we're fine. It's the middle of the day.
Yeah, right,
man.
right.
It's
I
not
forgot
even-
that it's only
not
like
even 6
something.
o'clock,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
We're
I mean,
fine.
yeah,
It's
we'll be
5:59,
fine.
but it's not 6
Well,
o'clock.
yeah, I can
yet.
see where you're coming from. With somebody be
Yeah.
like, "Did you say this? God damn it, you're fucking fired."
Yeah. No, I've
you
saved.
know.
I didn't put "I'm diving in that alien pussy" on my soundboard, but I really wanted to. 'cause I
You
wanted to play
should,
it
yeah.
over
I
and
would
over
say that.
again.
I would put that shit on mine. Fuck
Oh,
yeah, I
okay.
die.
Excellent.
We had this discussion on the podcast,
That's
right?
true. Yeah.
I was like, yeah,
that's
I'm
a strong
diving in some-
conviction.
Why
Of
wouldn't you do
yours.
that? Are we having this conversation again? Are
I
we going to
don't-
do this?
Let's do it.
Wait,
Listen.
I said that.
Just the dangers involved. I
The
think you
dangers
said
involved.
it. I think you said it because in your mind at that point you were just like, I want to bang something, and you're like, if it's green or looks like Avatar or whatever, fine,
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
But what it probably will be is some shit that you can't comprehend. It's gonna be like,
That makes me want to do it even more.
what if it's just like a pile of pulsating goo?
What if it's, I mean,
And
come
you're
on.
like, and you identify something that you believe to be a vagina.
Good, do it. I remember the last time I said, even if I died doing it, I would be known as the guy who died fucking alien pussy.
That's true.
Who the fuck else has that?
You know what? You did say that,
designation.
and I didn't think I didn't take that into consideration. I can respect that
Yeah.
in a number of ways, because
Oh, yeah.
that's what I've always said about commercial space travel.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been like, if someone was like, give me $50, I'll take you into space.
Yeah.
And it was legit, like it's Virgin Airlines or whatever. And they're
Right.
like, yeah, but this is new technology. How you know it's gonna work? Well, here's the deal. Probably when people hear that I died,
Yeah.
it'll be something real stupid.
Yeah.
It'll be something whack.
Yeah.
Like fucking wasn't paying attention to the parking lot and got ran over.
Yeah. Something
Or
like that.
He like gave himself leukemia or fucking.
As opposed to what? Going
Right.
into space commercially.
and someone's like,
fucking
hey, did you
alien.
hear what happened to Graham? Yeah, he burned up on re-entry.
Yeah. They're like, holy shit.
I'm
what?
fine with that being the story.
One hell of a legacy, right?
I buried the lead on that because we got a lot of beer.
Yeah.
Hey, do you know about kratom?
No, what is that?
Kratom? It's kind of like a tea leaf,
Okay.
right? And it's not illegal yet
Oh, shit.
in Georgia.
Okay.
It's ground up. What it does is, well, the thing that people are pretty excited about is that it helps people overcome opioid addictions
Oh, shit.
because it's not addictive necessarily, and it binds to your opioid receptors,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on.
Yeah, hold on for a second. We're watching a return.
Just watching the return
Chargers
by the
and their
Chargers.
Chiefs.
Yeah, normally that
Oh,
wouldn't have
shit.
thrown my thought
Yeah.
process, but it's football time. But anyway, so kratom though, I mean, it's look, listen, it's one of these things where like it has all these benefits and everything's great, and
Yeah.
everyone is using it for stress relief and pain relief,
Mhm.
and so I got some,
Oh, shit. Okay.
right,
Yeah.
and I've had 1,000 I've had 10,000 milligrams today. No, that's not right.
Today?
501, 8,000 milligrams today.
How
But
you feeling?
it's just like tea leaves.
Okay,
Like,
do you
it's
feel
a plant.
like a difference or what?
Yeah, I feel pretty different. Not unpleasant in any way. It's pretty short-lived, but I definitely noticed the difference because I don't have a lot of inflammation. Like, any of my joints or things that are normally sore.
Yeah.
But also, I'm definitely not sober when I have a lot of them.
Okay.
And they're legal. I get them from the same place I get my CBD edibles from. Because did you know that CBD edibles are legal in Georgia?
Yes. Yeah.
Because I knew
it's legal
CBD
to use
oil
it's legal to use it here, but you can't make it or transport it into here. They're kind of dickish in there. It's legal, but the way that you get it,
you can't
you
transport
can do it,
the oil.
Yeah,
Here's
the oil,
the thing.
yeah.
You can transport products containing CBD into Georgia.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah. There are places with all of these CBD products. You can get CBD vape out here now. You can get CBD edibles. For people that don't know, CBD is the non-psychoactive component of marijuana.
Right.
But so the same place I get those, I get the kratom from.
God damn, 47-3. Holy shit! They beat the fuck out of the Bills.
But either way, kratom's pretty interesting stuff. I'm not sure that I recommend it.
Yeah.
Because it does have kind of a very, when I very first started taking it, I was like, well, it feels like I just had a Vicodin or something. Because it interacts with your opioid receptors. But it's very clean, it's short lasting, and after the mild euphoria wears off, you feel pretty good.
Okay. It's not bad.
Not too bad.
I mean, that's the future.
Yeah.
Pretty soon these
we
states in
could
the South.
find out, though, that it's heroin. And
that
would be bad.
And then you'd be fucked.
Yeah.
Because heroin is the finish line as far as drugs go.
Pretty much.
Yeah. But I think that's the trend that everything is going. Marijuana is probably going to be legalized here pretty soon.
You would think so.
I hope so. Hopefully.
Florida
and
already
it looks
has
like,
medical.
That's what I'm saying. But in Georgia, it looks like there is a really big push to turn this state from Republican to Democrat.
Yeah.
Not to get too fucking political on. Fuck that. Yeah, but still.
Republicans and Democrats are both ass bags.
Exactly.
Sure we can agree on that.
Yeah.
However, were you to turn Georgia blue, the legalization of marijuana would come
immediately,
much quicker.
Yeah.
And it'd be fucked up. They'd still be like, you can't grow weed in your house, but you can go buy it from the store, and Anheuser-Busch will start growing weed. Whatever.
Yeah.
It'll be
regulated
and fucked up.
Yeah,
because the government will be involved.
Of course, yeah.
But it could happen here sooner.
The other thing that happened when I was moving recently that I've never seen happen when I've lived in an apartment complex is that they have people that like a street team for the Democrats voters. Who this guy walked up and he was like, he's like, "Are you moving?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Have you done a exchange of address form for your voter?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I did it online." And to me, I'm like, I understand your intent and your purpose, which is admirable, but at the same time, you're not supposed to be walking around in an apartment complex. That's the point of us living in an apartment complex, that you can't come up to us.
Yeah,
and
he might live in that apartment complex, though.
I don't give a fuck. You can't. It's no soliciting within this apartment complex. That's why you can't have Jehovah's Witnesses and everything coming around.
Oh, see, I don't know if that qualifies as soliciting.
Right? It is.
He's not selling you something, though. I mean, he's selling you a line of bullshit because he's asking you to align yourself with a political party.
Even when I was a kid, if you lived in an apartment complex, there has never been a point in time where people have come up to your door and knocked on every fucking door to try to get you to change your religion, vote a certain way, sell you something. It's never been that way.
That's
true.
I
think that it's
you
against
see him lurking, though.
Yeah, it's against it's not legal. Or it's not, you shouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah.
That's entirely possible. But I mean,
maybe I'm wrong.
But I think, well, see, that's the thing. You can't knock on doors because you can't knock on every door.
But he was knocking on doors, though, because he saw me come out of mine, but he knocked on the people across the hall.
Maybe he's not fucking around. Listen, dude, you know what was awesome?
Yeah.
Was when the Democrats were in charge. You know what was terrible was before that when the Republicans were in charge.
Right.
You know what was awesome was before that when the Democrats. Things are so different and amazing now.
Right.
And really, everyone's just handling it so phenomenally. I don't want to get political.
No.
I would say this
definitely
one
not
thing.
the place to get political. Yeah.
Donald Trump is the president that America deserves.
Yeah.
You fucking earned it.
Yeah.
You fucking
Yeah.
assholes.
This is the fucking sum of everything that has happened up to this point.
It's not good, but you fucking earned it.
Well, it is what it is.
Wake up. And
I always say that if this country can survive this presidency, then we can survive anything.
Yeah, what something is really deep is Griff said to me one time that if America was going to be taken over by a dictator, it would be Donald Trump. If America is taken over by Donald Trump, the system wasn't fucking worth saving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah.
And I agree with that.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Things are going to just get more fucked up with every president you have as a shitty system, and you're just going to keep working it.
Yeah.
And eventually the bottom will fall out, and they'll be like, okay, we got to let people not starve to death. But that's just where they'll keep us.
Yeah,
They'll just keep us to where
you're
not
right there at that
starving
that required minimum right there. It's like making a minimum payment on a credit card.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want you to report me to the credit agency, so I'm going to give you this $35.
But we're also,
fuck it, whatever.
And then on the flip side of that, and I know that generally it's like, like feeding cows warm milk, but also we're sitting here complaining about this, neither one of us being incredibly wealthy, and we're watching football and creating a podcast that
I've said that before when people would always go crazy and they would say, we're going to take back America, or the military is going to take back America. We're going to take DC and we're going to get them out of power.
Who's going to do that?
Who's going to do that? I always step back and say, we have it too good in America. Being as somebody who has seen other countries, I have stepped foot in other fucking countries.
Where it's fucked up.
Right. And have come back home and then people are so angry. I'm like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you really gonna do?
No,
okay?
almost.
Are you gonna group together? You're gonna what? Are you gonna have a coup d'etat? You're gonna have a coup d'etat in America?
Yeah,
what are you gonna do?
All of those fucking people are ridiculous.
Right.
It's think about this too. Here's another interesting thing. First of all, in America now compared to 50 years ago, there's half as much violent crime.
Right.
Of all kinds. Mm-hmm. There's half as much. And I'll lay this out here too, and this is something that people don't like to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
In 1994, Chicago had twice as many homicides and 4 times as many shootings as they did last year.
Right. People forget that.
Like, how are we absorbing information right now? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, how are we being presented the world that actually exists around us? Dude, violent crime in this country has fallen by half. And you know what that was a result of? Getting rid of leaded gasoline.
I was going to say that shit. See, we're right here.
Fuck yeah.
I was going to say that shit.
That's a direct correlation.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, so when people are like, people nowadays, because it's all that tribal shit. It's all about belonging to something. People are like, people nowadays aren't the same as they were when I was a kid because blah, 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 blah. I hear people say that, and I'm like, when girls were pregnant when I was in high school.
Yeah.
And middle school.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
People have been
that shit hasn't changed,
People have been, if you're looking for large sweeping change, there's something. No more leaded gasoline.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That was
and
it.
Now we're living in a world where, like, hey, maybe we should figure out a way to curtail feeding our population powerful drugs.
Right.
That they don't want to take.
Right.
They're like, people are like, we gotta keep Mexicans out of this country. Like, you're never gonna pull that off because we're Americans. Not. We love drugs and cheap labor.
Yeah.
I mean, we fucking love it.
Exactly.
Talking about cheap drugs and cheap labor.
Exactly. Yeah.
They will figure out a way around whatever you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
But let's not strike at the source of the problem.
No. It's like, you want to, you want to upgrade the wall and shit, the border between Mexico. They're going to find a way over that shit. You can build that wall all the way to the fucking moon if you want to. A space elevator.
Dude, they'll fly to Canada.
Yeah. I mean, shit.
They said that like fucking like something like 30% of illegal Mexican immigrants who come into this country come in from Canada.
Really?
Yeah, because it's cheap as shit to fly to Canada.
Yeah, because there's no wall between America and Canada. There's a forest. Have you seen that shit?
Yeah. Well,
it's
different in a lot of places.
It's a line of trees and there's an opening in the middle, and there's no, that's it.
Well, yeah. What are they gonna build a fucking shooting range there?
Yeah, no,
it's insanity.
Yeah, no,
it's all.
It's
God, I don't even know where we were going.
It's not. It's just
I was trying to be positive. I was trying to say that.
No, it is positive.
Silly.
It is positive in a way. It's more realistic than positive. But like I was saying, we have it too good in America because Nobody's gonna fucking band together and be like, let's go to the White House and get him out of here forcibly. That's not gonna happen. That happens in other countries because of the way they're set up.
Yeah, shit gets so far out of whack.
Yeah. It gets so far out of whack.
It's funny how
it's not going to happen here. It's not going to happen here,
It's
dude.
funny how that line of bullshit works on some people, though, where they're like, you're having financial problems because of Mexicans.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah.
Of course, yeah.
Of course, naturally.
Of course.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, those people come here. I don't give a fuck. Like, okay.
Right.
But some people are correct. Like, you do probably need to curtail illegal immigration to some respect.
I mean, because it's illegal. It's no more than
for
you
people
should.
who live right along the border. But overall, this country's full of drugged up psychopaths anyway. Yeah. And they're having a war there. We're fighting all these wars all over the world when our southern neighbor is like, we're having these drug wars. Here's an idea. Step in. Remember old school? Remember old school CIA America? I love reading about old school CIA America. Yeah. Because they're like, we'll just go to this other country and dispose this motherfucker.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but people want to ignore that,
right?
Because they don't want to believe that shit is real. No, you know. But the CIA has thrown over many governments in other countries.
General, we've built a republic here.
Yeah.
What America is a republic.
Yeah.
And building a republic is disgusting.
Yes.
Slavery.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking war.
Yeah.
Revolutionary.
Yeah.
Civil.
Yeah.
Global conflict. Involving ourselves globally in order to make like a bunch of people rich and a bunch of people okay financially.
Yep.
And then after that, we learned that war would make a few people super rich and make a few people okay financially. To the point where we're at now where, like, we sell war at minimum wage.
Yeah.
Like, a tiny little handful of people make billions off of war. And then almost none of that trickles down.
Have you ever seen that movie called, I think it was called War Inc. with God damn it. I can't remember the people that are in it right now because, you know. But it was just like that where America would go into another, like a third world country or some shit and do that. But the military was sponsored by private companies. So you would see tanks and planes and shit with like stickers on it from sponsored from companies and shit.
It's easy to imagine.
Yeah. I mean, it was fucking, it's a good movie. It is a good movie.
That's my deal, though, too, is that the government, like, they're like, oh, you want to take money away from defense? I'm like, yeah, I want them to spend it responsibly.
Of course, yeah.
I want them to realistically consider, except for, and it's the same thing with presidencies.
Mm-hmm.
No presidential administration in the history of this country has spent less money than the one before it.
Right.
None.
Right.
None. It's all, you have to justify your budget. Shit, dude, we were in the Air Force. They'd be like, oh, we got to throw all this furniture away. That was a weird thing when we merged with the Guard, was about moving furniture and throwing furniture away so that they could get more furniture.
Yeah, because you had to use the money before the end of the fiscal year. Otherwise, next fiscal year, you wouldn't get as much money.
It's just been
retarded. I
retarded.
never fucking understood that shit. And I was like, why would we need more money if this couch right here is just sitting there being a couch?
Yeah. And you need
why would we need a new couch?
Yeah, no, you need a new couch. You can't have that couch.
No, we have to get rid of that couch.
But also, we can't feed fucking starving people.
No.
And we can't fucking study the environment, and we can't send anybody in a fucking
outer space. And we can't help homeless veterans who put their lives on the line to help the country. Dude, we can talk 5 fucking hours about this.
Are you talking about helping veterans?
Yeah.
Let's save
silly
that for
fucking
another
me.
podcast.
Dude.
That's adorable.
Yeah, that is fucking.
You know what? We'll do it some other time, but I'll explain to you why they're never gonna do that.
One of the things that I've seen recently is that when everybody was burning their Nike shoes out in protest, there was somebody who said, "Why don't instead of selling them or burning them, why don't you give them to homeless veterans? Because you think that Colin Kaepernick is disrespecting the country and the veterans. Mm-hmm. Why don't you just help the veterans instead of just burning your shoes?"
Agreed.
There's no response on that at all.
Well, my question is,
just how retarded are you?
Yeah,
right.
Pretty much. But I mean that goes across the board too, though. For almost anybody who believes anything these days, how to explain this? There's like a curve. As we gain more information, we became more intelligent unto a point where we were all allowed access to all this information, and as a result, the information changed.
Right.
And now we're in a situation where reason and logic and critical thinking and nonpartisan thought process is gone to the wayside.
Of course, yeah.
You know, I mean, I guess that's sort of makes sense.
And the big media, they
but
know
just
that.
Nothing is ever related to anything. You see it all the time. It'll be like, oh, Mac Miller died. And you'll see some comment that gets 15,000 likes that's like, yeah, what about Trayvon Martin?
Right.
Trayvon Martin is an important
Of
story.
course, yeah.
That is very important.
Yeah. Because we're talking about one, is not we're taking away from another.
Right.
You know?
This, but we're not talking about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That was the whole thing with the Black Lives Matter movement.
Yeah. Black Lives Matter was so bad at not understanding that that's not what we were talking about in any given moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everyone's mad at that. It doesn't matter. Whatever. Give me something. Bring me somebody who's like, I believe this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, if you believe that like that, then that means that you have ignored a whole bunch of other information.
Exactly.
Right. Not that like, oh, your cause isn't valid or whatever. But if you're like, I believe this large umbrella of ideas and I'm unwilling to question them, well, then we just have like these like solid umbrellas of ideas banging into each other because nobody's willing to.
And that goes back to what you said when you said that you were at the movie theater and they changed that fucking that bathroom because we've become accustomed to taking care of everybody's feelings and their views to the point to where nobody's views and feelings matter.
Yep. And there's nothing practical anymore.
No, nothing.
No.
Because there's no reason why a movie theater that serves a lot of people should take a handicap placard off a fucking handicap bathroom and then put a gender neutral placard up there.
Right.
What the fuck?
And I'm telling you, that bathroom was accessible only to those theaters, and it was essentially, in my opinion, if I'd have been an inspector and they were like, does this place have handicap access, I'd be like, this bathroom is maybe not a step far enough.
Right.
Like okay, there is one.
Yeah.
And it's back here, but there's like 10 theaters back here.
Of course, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe you need a full handicap bathroom.
Exactly.
Here. Like a full bathroom.
Like a full fucking
stalls.
handicap, yeah.
You know what I mean? But you don't get that. You just get the handicap bathroom, and then eventually someone comes along and they go, gotta protect these people who need protecting. Yeah. And listen, man, that's another thing for me too, is like that kind of thing turns people off of being allies of genuinely persecuted groups of people. Yeah. You know what I mean?
This is the thing.
It's so stupid.
It is.
That it makes people ignore real injustice who maybe would have cared, and people who should care are like, nah, the sign at the fucking movie theater.
Right. Exactly. But see, I think that in the 90s, we had it in the extreme, the opposite way, to where everybody was like, fucking homosexuals, that shit is wrong. You're going to get AIDS if you're gay. You get the AIDS, and then you don't fuck all these other people. It was extreme negatively. Now we have the extreme to where it's overly open to everybody. You can't have it either overly extreme and this is historically. This is historically.
You can't exist without the gray area.
What did fucking Hitler do in Germany? You know?
Oh, how long was that? Sorry. I avoided it, but there's a thing. He
didn't just come up and be like, I want to take over and bring back Germany, and the Jews are, I don't like them, but they're okay.
Everything was fucked up, and he blamed it on one group of
exactly.
people.
He came up there and was like, the Jews did it. We got to kill them all. And then everybody was like, wait, whoa.
That's a sociological thing, though, that I'm going to look up. There's a thing where it's like, how long could a conversation be had before Hitler is brought up? Like, there's a thing.
He is, because he is the apex of hatred.
No, yeah, he is. Well, and it's the thing, if you look at all of us and you're like, which one of the intelligent apes really fucked it up for everybody else?
Right.
You're like, well, we know about Hitler, so we need to be incredibly vigilant to prevent that kind of thing from happening. Yeah. But we obviously totally ignore many signs because that's so fucking nuts. That's so... It would have to be so carefully orchestrated, right? Despite the fact that
even when you talk about World War II, everybody thinks the Hitler, but then you have a lot of shit that happened with all countries. America took Japanese citizens that were living in America and put them in internment camps. That shit is overlooked. There are people who don't know about that shit, who have born and raised in America, because when we went to school, because when we went to school, it was like, hey man, World War II was absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
Hitler killed a bunch of Jews,
and
then
Japanese, and we came in there.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
squared all that shit
and
away.
then the Japanese attacked us. That's how we got in the war. And then we imprisoned a bunch of Japanese that were not guilty at all.
And then at the end of the war, we vaporized 100,000.
And then we bombed the shit. And even that was fun. Look, man, we could talk about this shit for 24 hours
God
straight.
damn it.
You know,
We're
how
at-
much time? What time are we at now?
36 minutes.
Oh shit!
It's not
really?
as bad as I thought.
It's not,
no,
it's
actually,
not.
that's 36
I mean,
minutes though. After the last time we paused.
Yeah, but that shit was only like
That
10
was
minutes.
short.
So yeah,
Yeah,
that was
no,
short
that
as
was
fuck. Yeah, yeah.
There is a chance that at some point maybe we need to start a history podcast.
I mean,
like a
yeah,
third
we can do that. Yeah.
Third. Oh man, we gotta figure out a way to merge these podcasts. I don't know how to do this because they both have different flavors though. So my podcast is always a little bit more structured, and I'm always like, I gotta knock this out in 30 minutes.
Yeah,
that's as far as I want to go.
Yeah.
I like to try like cram it in and be funny. We really like blow out ideas on your podcast.
I know, yeah.
Like, we explore them to the nuts and bolts.
Yeah,
I know. But
all this shit connects too, so it's not like we're just fucking rambling and shit, you know. But yeah.
You ever watch Trailer Park Boys?
No, but I know of them.
You should, because this is from Trailer Park Boys. And it goes this somewhere.
Fuck Randy's gun. It's full of dirty old cheeseburgers.
That's just funny because it said somebody's gut is full of something about old cheeseburgers. That's funny. That's some good stuff. Anyway.
What the hell is wrong with you people?
Who knows?
Yeah, I know.
We should do a history podcast.
Yeah.
At some point, we should sit down in here and like make like a concerted effort to make like an epic documentary about something.
Yeah.
Like we do like one. We pick one thing.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do Jonestown.
We could do Jonestown.
I've been dying to do it. That'll be like a
we
proper
could do Jonestown, dude, because I
episode.
fucking
And you
because
can put the
when I
music
did
on
the
that
final
shit.
instructions, dude, I listened to every. There is a website that has every motherfucking recording of Jonestown, and then that whole story of how Jim Jones started and came to power. Yeah,
it has. You played them. It
Yeah,
has
yeah,
sermons
yeah.
from the
Yeah,
People's
every
Temple
one
in
of them,
San Francisco.
Yeah. That's a crazy story, dude. That is a crazy story.
And that's what I was thinking was we could do maybe like a half hour, like a proper podcast.
Right.
All squared away. We put music to it, sound bites, all that.
No, it had to be longer than an hour, dude. It had to be it would be more than one part.
Be a feature.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm saying we could do it to where it's like, its own standing entity. Is this Jonestown thing.
Yeah. I know we talked about merging the two podcasts. I think that it's not going to happen until somebody comes up and like, here's a bunch of money. You guys are famous now. We're going to sign you to our podcast label. Merge it together. Yeah. Figure it out.
Probably be Pod
It's one of those
Caviar.
things where they,
Pod Caviar doesn't have my name in it. So that's a given. That's a gimme. And it's a better name, conceded. So I will concede that it's better. I struggled for 1 Gram Army after the, but I mean, I'll probably just keep doing that, and I'll just do yours.
I remember when I saw Sports with a capital F, I was like, what's Graham going right now? It's Sports with a capital F. That's a podcast? Yeah. All right. I don't understand the name, but fuck it. Whatever. Yeah. It is what it is.
It made a lot of sense when I thought of it, and then when I kept seeing it in writing, I was like, that doesn't make any sense. And then I was like, you know what else doesn't make any sense? Cap F Sports.
It's those decisions right there. I've been through that before. And normally with me, it's like with girls. It's like, you know what? Probably fucking her is going to be a good idea. In my mind, it sounds really good. Doing it,
it won't be.
No, it never is.
Almost.
It never is.
Oh,
anytime
God.
you have to sit down and be like, that's probably going to be a good idea. Let me go do that. No, it's not.
It's almost never.
No, it's not. No.
But either way, that's how it's shaped. But we could do. But that's what I'm saying though. We could do the Jonestown standalone masterpiece. It'd be like we'll do like a Radio Lab episode, but it'll be about Jonestown. We'll work the shit out of it, and then it'll be 2 parts, and it'll just be. We'll put it on both of our podcasts.
Yeah,
and that could be the beginning of some sort of strange central podcast. It's all the same shit.
Yeah. It is.
It's like the Russian mob, the Italian mob, the Asian mob. It's all part of one bigger thing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Except we're way funnier than you.
No, of course. Yeah.
Except maybe the Italians are pretty funny.
Italians are funny as fuck.
Oh, damn.
Okay,
Michael
let's see what
Jackson
the Cowboys are
moved
doing.
there.
Here we go, 3rd and 3. Cowboys are down 10-0. Dak Prescott has the ball. He steps back. He's looking. He's surveying the field. There's a flag on the play. He's trying to escape the sack. He throws it away.
Exciting.
Oh.
We're still doing your podcast.
I know.
You want to wrap this up?
Yeah, let's wrap it up, man. This is a great episode. Graham has been here from the One Graham Army.
These men are consummate snowball artists. What he means is Old Testament, Mr. Mayor. Real wrath of God type stuff. Exactly. Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies. Rivers and seas boiling.
40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes.
The dead rising from the grave. Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria.
Can you top that or are you done?
I'm done.